And then also, inflation's everywhere. People have to choose, am I going to spend that discretionary income on dental care, right? Getting my teeth fixed, cleaned, anything like that? Or am I going to buy gifts, right? What I'm used to spending for the holidays.
Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the CEO of SMC National, where we deliver predictable new patient flow for offices just like yours. And today, I got a special treat for you. I'm going to be interviewing Jack. He is the director of our product. Product for SMC is we deliver new patients. So he's in charge of all the marketing that we do for our clients. And we're going to be talking about what has happened in the last 30 days. So what did January, February look like of 2023? And then we're going to be talking about the future and what does the future of marketing look like over the next 30 to 60 days. And I'm excited because we're going to be covering some major topics about the future that you're not going to want to miss. This is brand new. I don't think anybody has this information, and we're going to cover that at the end. But first, Jack, as we dive into this, let's talk about what you saw in January as far as, I know spending was up overall, but I know you had an interesting perspective on that.
Yeah. So, typically within any year when it comes to dentistry, right, there's always a big jump from fall to or winter to kind of the new year, right? A couple of reasons. In the new year, you have your benefits, right? The dental benefits reset, right? And so patients that were maybe holding off because they had used it earlier in the year, or they have their new dental insurance restarting come the new year, right? They're now back out on the market looking for a dentistry. Also, some of the reasons is people are trying to take care of their health, right? And oral health falls under that category. And so maybe they had some pain, right? It's like, you know what? I'm going to get that taken care of. I'm going to be able to eat again, whatever, right? I'm going to go take care of myself. And that starts a lot of people. It's their oral health. And so there's typically a bump, but what we're seeing is just a really drastic bump. And like this winter was on record, one of the lowest lowest lead volume search traffic, highest cost per lead, highest, cost per click. And there's a lot of factors going into that, right? First of all, you look at the stats about the economy and just where we're at 2022, 2023.
Sorry to disrupt the show, but I got something crazy to share with you. We are attempting to connect with all of our listeners. We have thousands of people that listen to this podcast, and we want to meet you in person. We have 4 events coming up, and I want to give you a discount code that you can use for the next week to save $300 off your ticket. The discount code is Gary Bird, and the link is going to be just down below. You can also go to smcnational.com/events. I hope to connect with you in person and help each other grow our businesses. Can't wait to see you soon.
They try to use these metrics to talk about, no, the economy is good, spending is up, right? But what they're failing to tell you is that, spending is up because people have to spend more to get the same amount of goods that they were getting 1, 2, 3, 4 years before, right? So spending is up, sure, but because of the cost of inflation, people are being a lot more selective with where they're spending.
So just to put this in like a practical term, I spent more at the grocery store. So normally I spend $500 every month on my grocery bill. This month I spent $600. So it looks like a bump in average spend, but it's because the costs are higher. I'm really not getting more groceries. I'm just spending more, which is inflation. And that means I'm going to have less discretionary funds for things like dentistry.
Exactly. And so that gets really heightened, right? We saw that really heightened. That's one of the factors that we're attributing to just a lower overall winter for 2022 is that people are going to choose with less discretionary income. And you have the holidays, right? You have travel, you have gifts for your family, friends, yourself. People have to choose, am I going to spend that discretionary income on dental care, right? Getting my teeth fixed, cleaned, anything like that? Or am I going to buy gifts, right? What I'm used to spending for the holidays. And so that's one of the things we saw, one of the many factors. And then also, inflation's everywhere, right? And so it would be foolish to think that, Google, Facebook, they're not going to up their ad costs, their cost per clicks, right? Which is the root of what, the advertising revenue bills go to, right? Yeah. It'd be foolish of them to not kind of get in on that. And so we've seen anywhere from 10 to 15% cost per clicks going up kind of nationwide. And so you add a rising ad cost, lower discretionary income is a tough winter. But we did see a bounce back, right? Like usual, I think a little bit of a higher ping than normal, just because now we have seen inflation start to taper off. So that's working to everyone's benefit. That discretionary income, kind of spending more for less or the same, that's not as serious. Gas prices have kind of dropped a little bit, which was a big factor last fall, right? So that's more money directly to the mass majority of people. That is the main clientele for a lot of our practices. And so you have that easing, the new year coming into play. And so we've seen that kind of bounce back and kind of patient flow and traffic flow kind of pick up there.
That's awesome. So that's what happened. So now let's talk about the future. And this is really, really exciting because when you started to explain to me what was going on in the future, it's very, very interesting. So let's talk about local, or go ahead. You say it. I want you to use the technical name of them and get it right.
Yeah, so Google is rolling out what's known as local service ads. And they've actually been out for a couple of years. I think if you go on your phone right now, you look up a plumber, that's a really popular one.
Roofers,
where you're getting service,
AC.
Roofers, plumbers, things like HVAC, where it's like you're getting service and it's someone local in your area. You're not contracting out a big company, right? I'm not looking for a McDonald's. I'm looking for someone to service me in my area.
Yeah. And these ads, so I've used these ads before. What they basically do is that Google's telling you, hey, these are verified people that you can trust. And they started in the home improvement field, I believe, because there's a lot of unsavory characters in that industry, right?
Yeah.
And so they came in and they said, hey, we already verified these guys. We already know they're licensed, they're insured, they're bonded. You're safe to use these guys. Here's their Google reviews as well. So it's like a double verification. You're getting the social proof with the Google reviews, plus you're getting Google that did their background research. Now, you told me something that was interesting.
Yeah.
You could not find any dentists that have local ads. You've searched all around the country and you haven't been able to find anybody yet, right?
Yeah, from my perspective, right? And it's new. So it's not like, everyone's been sleeping on it for the last couple of years. They barely in the last couple of months initiated this and made it available to dental offices. And just me and my team's testing, I'm in Southern California, right? And so one of the most competitive markets in all of America. And I could not in just kind of LA County get a local service ad to show up for me. Right.
Which dentist. To me just screams, for dentist.
Yeah. For dentist. Yeah. Yes. It's not that it's not working. I looked up a plumber to make sure okay, is it my browser? Do I have a VPN on? And it's working perfectly. But what I found was that I could not get one to show up for dentist, but we know it's available to dentists. We're going through this process, getting it hooked up. So to me, that screams, it is a massive, massive opportunity for practices to get their name in there and to get, and really what it is, it's the most right now, at least, it's the most prime real estate when it comes to the search engine.
Yeah.
And we know for general dentistry, when it comes to lead generation and kind of paid channels, Google search is number one, right? That's kind of the meta of like general dentistry and just acquiring new patients very quickly. And this is now the most prime, highest real estate when it comes to search ads. But I think what we found also in some of our testing and kind of setting this up is that it's not going to be easy. Right. And there are things that are going to separate you and separate your practice and even your eligibility to.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So I want to talk about why so normally if I just want to run Google ads for my business, it's pretty easy to go set up. You may not be the best at it or executing it, but it's easy to get a Google ad out and people seeing it. But with these, it's not the same.
No, not at all. And the furthest verification that Google just added in the last couple of years, like it used to be really, really easy. Now you just have to have you have to be an actual business. Before they did, now you have to submit a W-9, right? You didn't have to do that before, but that's it. Like if you're an actual business and you're not doing malicious things, you can get ads up immediately. Now, when it comes to the Google local service ads, and actually before I get into the setup there, the reason why it's so important, you get the most prime real estate, you get a big Google certified, trusted, partner badge. And if you go to actually choose these listings, it says if you're not satisfied with your service, Google's going to refund you.
That's huge.
So they're taking on a bunch of risk as a company, right, to be able to do this. And one of the biggest things, and we've seen some hiccups that we didn't even anticipate, is the practicing doctor at these locations, they have to pass a background check. And so they're answering questions, they're submitting information, right? That Google is taking and vetting and looking with kind of publicly available records as well. And if you have anything on your blemish that is kind of, similar to like trying to, be in the police force, right? You got to pass that background check. And even there is a hint of uncertainty, they don't let you in, especially because it's so competitive. Yeah. And some of the things that we didn't even anticipate going through this process and getting our practices up and running with this is that we've had doctors fail this background check, and they're not going to be able, unless we can figure that out, or maybe it was a mistake, they're not going to be able to take part of this service. And so if this ends up becoming, and we've talked to the Google reps, we work with a lot of practices, we do a lot in ad spend. And so we have really good connection with our reps, and we've asked them like, hey, what is Google's plan for local service ads when it comes to search ads? And they've said, and obviously take it with a grain of salt because it's Google, but they said there's going to be major disruptions in the service space when it comes to search ads because of local service ads.
Which makes sense.
And so that's, Well,
and here's the thing. So I want to get your feedback on this. So a long time ago, I started telling people Google is in the process of trying to eliminate websites. Websites are actually not good for Google, because once I click off the ad and I go to the website, then Google lose control of that person. And then now they're trying to collect your email or get you to social, right? So there's multiple layers after you leave Google that people try to get you hooked in. Well, if Google can control that whole process, so if they can bring you to Google, you do a search, and let's use roofers. If I go on Google, I type in roofers, I find a roofer, Google says, no, we verified this person, we guarantee they're going to be good. I fill out that form right there on Google. It goes directly to the roofer. Now as the roofer, I need Google. I can't leave Google. I can't go anywhere else because I'm getting that lead directly from them, and I'm not able to move them over into my ecosystem until after the fact. What are your thoughts on that? Is that the direction you see it going?
It is undoubtedly. You are going to be, that's the one thing. The thing about Apple that makes them so successful is that you are stuck in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? There's probably better phones, probably better laptops, better computers, better desktops. But the reason I use Apple is because my watch syncs with my phone, syncs with my laptop, syncs with my desktop. And so I'm kind of stuck in that ecosystem. And that's what Google's moving towards when it comes to their advertisers and just their vendors that are using their services. So just you hit the nail on the head. These local service ads, it's actually hard to find a website.
Yeah.
They try to keep everything in kind of the Google My Business profile. And so some of the changes we're going to see and the disruption we're going to see is it's not so much about your website, your conversion rate of your website, your videos on your website, your colors. It's not going to be so much about that. And what has always been important, but what is going to become infinitely more important now is your reviews. And just, are you taking care of your patients? Because the biggest thing highlighted when I was studying, just researching local service ads and like putting myself in the spot of the consumer of, okay, I'm not looking for a plumber, but who would I pick of these local service ads? And all the thing they highlight is how long you've been in business and how many reviews you have. So if you were to pull one up on your phone, it has the name of your business, I think a little icon, been in business for this many years and this many reviews. Because that's telling me as a consumer, this person, if they have 5,000 reviews and have been in business for 30 years as a dental office, I'm going to be like, okay, this is an experienced dentist, right? And B, my community is telling me that this person is taking care of them. They're taking care of my community. So I don't even need a website. I'm going to call them, right? I don't need to go to a website. I don't need to get sold anymore. My community is selling me on this practice. So if you've been neglecting your Google reviews, right? And now you try to get in local service ads, you're at 25 and all your competitors at 300, 400, 500. And that's basically what you're being compared against. Well, you have a long way to go to catch up.
Wow.
And then on top of, if you are being, if you're not taking care of your patients, right? Which obviously that should be the goal of any practice, right? They're taking care of their patients. But if you're not taking care of your patients, you have these lawsuits, you have all these issues, and you don't pass that background check, well, then you're at a disadvantage even more because you may never be even able to use these local service ads in the first place.
Wow. Okay. That's huge. This has been a really good episode, Jack. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to bring you on next month. We'll have the same conversation. Hopefully by then we can look at, okay, what data is actually matters in these local
absolutely.
search ads. I've actually started talking to other people who run these in other industries, and they're very unique. It's totally different. So this is brand new for all the dental marketers out there, all the dental offices, and I'm excited to learn and grow and share this information with everybody. So great job today, and thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.